Hello and welcome. It is I. Watching some Athenian League games. They've been coming pretty hot and heavy lately. We had a lot of matches played this last weekend, and I'm trying to catch up. These will be the last two. Well, this is one of the last two matches that I have to stream. We are down in the classical divisions, which is the lowest division in the Athenian League. 4 tiers. We're in the lowest. First round of the playoffs between, of course, so all these first round matches are number 2 versus number 3. Um, so yeah, we've got a couple players I'm not super familiar with, other than I know Swerteko just a little bit because Swerteko, who is on the left side of the map in the red, played in Athenian League season number 2, and we're in 3 now. So played last season, got last in his division and came back this year. I essentially kind of slid Swerteko down kind of half a division in a way to maybe hopefully get him with some closer competition, and it seemed like it worked pretty well. Swerteko was 10-5 during the regular season and looked pretty decent overall. A lot of Norse. There's really been a lot of Norse in every division this year. So Norse certainly a very popular pick for all players across all divisions right now. His opponent from Portugal is Rochinhanr. Probably badly. It probably really means something super cool in Portuguese, and I'm just absolutely just destroying the pronunciation. But Rochinhanr also played a whole lot of Norse during the regular season. In fact, all Norse except for one Nuwa. She got just sprinkled in very lightly. So Norse wars, which tend to be pretty crazy. Hopefully we'll be pretty crazy here. We got Freyr for the green player, and this green it's a nice looking green. And our first map here is of course on the unknown. And it seems to have spawned a very straightforward land map here. Not a whole lot going on. It's almost, yeah, other than your two cliffs here, you could almost say it's almost like a derivative of like just any of your basic land maps, your tundras or your savannas or something like that. As we get into age 2, both players going up Freya. Initially all the Freyr players used to go, I don't even know what is it, Oler? And now everybody seems, outside of a few occasions here and there, mostly going with Freya now. It's just hard to pass up the Valkyrie. Got this Valk chasing down the Berserk. So yeah, we're looking at, what skill level are you looking at? Both players are around 1400. So certainly not going to be, fantastically skilled players, but still decent. 1400 is decent, right? So you'll get to see some things, and we'll kind of find, probably more ways where these players could improve. Think of it this way: these players are the players with all the potential. You get up in the top tiers like where I play. There's not much potential for improvement. It's reach the max. So yeah, we'll see what these players do. We've got double Great Hall, so it looks like some raiding cavalry over here and double Great Hall. Some raiding cavalry over here, which makes for a fun game. We've got a little wall put up here in the corner. And no walls over here, just kind of wide open. This is where, again, looking at like the building construction of the base, I talk about it pretty frequently. I'm always a fan of leaving the edges traversable. So you would wall here. This is good, but like would have placed this somewhere else so that this could also be a traversable wall. So kind of easy to come in and out. Instead, wow, we are walling up the entire front of the base, which just makes it so, as a defender, you don't really have any flexibility here. You just can't defend this. You see our first little foray here. You can turn and fight this. So, going into this match, I would say that Swerteko would be the favorite. Did better. Actually, Rochinhanr. Now, by one of my previous streams, we had a player that advanced with a sub 500 win rate. I thought that was the only one, but actually Rochinhanr got in with a 7-8 record, playing against a 10-5 Swerteko. Swerteko, if we look at the rating ladder, Swerteko's a little ahead, about 1450 to Rochinhanr's like 1380. So Swerteko probably a little bit better, but not out of reach for someone like Rochinhanr to compete with. We do have a little bit of a raid here that will result in one dwarf dying, and this wall, or the house wall, getting attacked. Do we have... Ooh, Tusk of the Iron Boar gives more hit points. That's pretty good. Now here being Freyr was slightly cheaper. Oh, nice forest fire here. Gets 2 more villagers. We'll try to drag this guy through. Takes a little bit of damage. You gotta watch out for the fire on the ground. So Swerteko with just the initial aggression here has kind of set Rochinhanr on the back foot, and you know, this is a very risky spot to be as Rochinhanr, because there's just a potential for all of this to come swooping in on the hunt there, and that would be sad news for Rochinhanr, who's also got a few tower upgrades now, making some of a herdman in defense, but coming forward with double Valk, 7 raiding cavalry, 1 lost on the wrong side of the trees. We have some barracks put up here and a wall because Swerteko's down on this hunt. And Swerteko doing a really good job of walling off the map. This is really well done by Swerteko. There's just no place for Rochinhanr to get in like undetected. I do have to be careful here. We're losing a decent amount of hit points on the way out. As long as they don't die, they could be healed up by the Valkyrie. And wow, both got decent relics. This one makes them do more damage to buildings. This poor raiding cavalry just can't quite get in. You know, in Legacy, you would have been able to save that by speed walking on the unit. Speed walking doesn't seem to be as much of a thing here in Retold. In fact, I'm not sure it even exists. And what I mean by that, like, so if you had a unit back here and units up here, if you selected them and tried to connect them into a formation, and the one in the back would run faster in order to kind of catch up to the formation. I don't think that exists here in Retold. We are building up our wall here, so hitting the wall, killing the wolves, grabbing a town center. This is not the play in a map that has maybe some limited hunt or forward gold mines, or at least side gold mines. Like, there's not a protected gold mine, so there's the danger here for Rochinhanr as he gets this town center, but then facing frost will just end up getting frosted and knocked off of the gold. So if I'm Swerteko here, I see what my win condition is, which is just right here. Get in on this. Get a nice frost in. Block the villagers. Block the gold. But grabbing a town center. So a bit of a slower game here. Have the slightly stronger Valkyries now because Swerteko is aged up. And Rochinhanr is working at catching up in the dead vill count. Well, in the vill count because of the dead vills. Oh, there's a really good relic here that neither player has grabbed. 5% movement speed and base. Oh, Rochinhanr doesn't know it, but Swerteko has discovered it. So really, there's probably the 3 best cavalry upgrade relics are in this game. You've got the one that gives them more hit points. You got the one that makes them do more damage. Then you got the one that makes them faster. So, and then we've got we're gonna probably have to hide with a forest fire here to not lose a bunch of units, and going to do some path blocking. Not quite working out. And hello, Vortiger. And we'll slide in to this. Yeah, both these players are Norse players, so another Norse mirror. Swerteko played a little bit of Poseidon during the regular season, but primarily Norse. We get a free kill on a raiding cavalry. These herdmen, with the damage they do to cavalry, like you look away for just a couple seconds and they can really put the hurt on. But yeah, I don't know how Rochinhanr is going to hold this position. It's just your late town center. When you grab a second town center like that, that's late. You're just kind of asking. Oh, nice frost here to get the units. We'll get in on the gold mine. There are still a few herdmen that got avoided. So really like this here because he frosted the army in these, but did not frost the villagers because wanted to kill the villagers. So pretty cool. A really nice job there with the frost. But probably could finish off these units that are not frosted. And then we'll have a field day with this, and we're going into it. What was a pretty easy victory for Swerteko in the first game here. Running away? Just being very cautious, I suppose. Because, I mean, he could certainly take control of that spot, but putting a hill fort down right in the face of Rochinhanr, and these villagers are trying to sneak a gold mine. Swerteko should kind of realize that, or maybe they're just going to the hunt. Is no one on 2? Why does it say there's 2 on gold? Who in the world is on gold? Oh, these 2. Double hill fort, so Swerteko is just pretty happy just to kind of sit back and just use the advantage he's got to just get kind of a unstoppable force here of a couple rams. But there still is. You'll have all 3 god powers here for Rochinhanr. So you still have the pig, forest fire, and then Tempest is in soon. But just little 10 behind in villagers, and you have these buildings because there's no wall here. Rochinhanr really can't defend any of this. Getting the Gotti in on the Valk. And is Swerteko just being very careful? Oh, nice eco upgrades. Doesn't have the farming tech, but I guess isn't farming yet. Falling all the way back. You might as well just go. You're at full pop now. A lot of gold in the bank. Rochinhanr is aged up. Only has 4 on gold though. Some interesting resource allocation here. Building a very defensive hill fort. I did not expect Swerteko to kind of sit back like this. I was almost wondering if like the game like bugged out. Just sitting there. And here we come. Alright, let's slow it down to get to normal speed. Got a lot of units here. I mean, we've got Tempest and the Pig. You really can't come... Rochinhanr is coming way too far out. I mean, there's a world here where maybe like with some... Yeah, look at all the units on the way back. Okay, you get the nice rock giant taunt in. We've got the Pig out. Pig's going to come up here. We've got the Tempest. So 2 god powers at the same time. Whoa, look at the splash damage this Pig is doing on the slowed units. Trying to get at the hill fort there. And yeah, these 2 god powers back to back are doing some work here. But it's not enough resources and not enough army here, unfortunately, for Rochinhanr, who will kill the hill fort, it looks like. Maybe, yeah. But then that's about it. So, a bit of a fight out, but in the end, just way too far behind. That'll be it for game number 1 once Rochinhanr decides to find the resign button. And there we go, Swerteko with the game 1 win here against Rochinhanr. Just got picked apart with some of the early raids. Fell behind the economy, fell behind the Odin economy, and then just never really got going. Had some decent military, was able to keep up decently, but just fell behind early, fell behind economically, and that just was defensive the whole time. So really a pretty straightforward game here on a pretty straightforward map. Game 2, another Norse mirror? No, we've got Swerteko. Has switched over to Anubis. Rochinhanr is the player we're looking at right now. It's Freyr again. So Rochinhanr must see Freyr as number 1 god pick. And we've got Swerteko over here. Always like to look at the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh is Taylor Swift. So she is a woman of many talents. One of them is being an Egyptian pharaoh. So we've seen some Anubis in some of the recent matchups where the Anubites and the snakes have caused problems for the Norse. So this may be one of those as well, or maybe Swerteko can use some early spears, early axemen, some Anubites, and come in at Rochinhanr. Is coming forward with the Pharaoh. I'm not sure. Okay. Uses vision, sees absolutely nothing. And wow, so we have some snakes used on the back end here. We've got Taylor Swift coming forward to attack the villagers. Well, actually the ox cart. Snakes causing some problems. Just a lot of idle villager time here. We'll get the Valkyrie. We'll maybe get the Hersier. You gotta attack the Hersier with the... I think... not a lot of value there for Taylor Swift. She went forward and didn't do a whole lot. Still fighting these snakes. This looks like they're down to 2 left. So a lot of idle time here for Rochinhanr. Kind of hate to lose your Valk like that, though. There really was no need to lose it, but this is where the aggression is always beneficial. Makes the opponent panic and do things they maybe normally wouldn't do. I feel like the aggression probably gets stronger the lower down on the ladder you get, as long as you can manage the aggression. Like, rushing your opponent and not wasting units, which is kind of the big caveat there. I'd say is the easiest way to climb the ladder. Just so many of the players not at the top of the rating ladder just struggle with early pressure. Got double Anubites coming out, the Guardian Anubites. So yeah, kind of similar to one of the games we watched yesterday. Now here comes some spears, getting Serpent Spear once the resources come in for that. And we've got Taylor Swift the second has been re-chosen to lead the people. Cavalry upgrade. This is the one, of all the bugs, this is the one that boggles me the most. That has not been changed or fixed. Like, it's like one of the most obvious. But there it is. The Anubite raids does get the villager. Here comes a Valkyrie to come over and help pick off. Is Fuzi pretty decent? I don't play enough Chinese. What are these spearmen doing? Oh, they saw the raiding cat. Oh. Gets away with one hit. Don't know if it'll get away for long, though. Rochinhanr forced to go to the goats because of the early pressure. And loses both raiding cavalries just for nothing, so that's a little disappointing. And Swerteko looks like he wants to age up. Yeah. Then making some more barracks. Another raid here. Nicely using the jump to get over the forest. You know, so in Legacy, in Legacy, these could only jump if they were targeting a unit. So it's kind of a pretty cool concept where they can jump at will. They have a bug where they can't sign into Microsoft accounts to play with other consoles. This is a lot of villagers on one mine. No, they can't even reach it. So should also be trying to. It looks like there's room. You always want to have like 5 villagers crammed into this little nook between the mine and the mining camp. So spearmen getting killed. It looks like. Valk chasing him down. 5.3 speed. It's pretty quick for an infantry unit. Yeah, there's some bugs that are just disappointingly serious that still affect the game. I'd say like pathing is one that's might actually be in its worst spot now than it has been. for the entirety of the game. There's just some pathing that really makes you wonder what's going on. Where you think, you know, you did things right, and then you look back and your units are just doing stuff, but not the stuff you thought they'd do. Not that Legacy AOM was perfect, though I am kind of biased towards it because, in my opinion, the Legacy pathing, while struggled at times, was very predictable to the point where you knew what was going to happen. So like someone like me who'd played it a while was kind of able to navigate around the pathing because the units move predictably, so you could move your units in a way that just wouldn't have bad pathing. So far, at least I haven't some of the retold pathing I just haven't really sorted out. It's just kind of wacky.
Yo.
Rochinhanr has been very defensive these first two games. Even if this game really has not come out other than just those two raiding cavalry which came out and died. Has a couple Valkyrie on the bottom. Is sending the ox cart over to that mine. Has the upgrades. Trying to grab a town center maybe. Very odd to be kind of grabbing these delayed town centers. Or if you're not, I don't know, if you're not being aggressive in playing defensive, you kind of want to greed and get your town center as early as possible. No eco upgrades yet. We see that Swerteko must have kind of realized that he forgot because he's essentially pre-queued all of his eco upgrades now. And we'll come forward and see these villagers, so this is kind of the spot to attack here. But we've got, Freyr is kind of, oh, nice, oh, really nice raid here. Got quite a few units. I think unfortunately the Valks kind of got caught. Taylor Swift is getting burned by the fire right now. Oh man! Lost her to the fire. That's actually kind of important. That's a loss of quite a few empowered resources. A lot of gold that's going to go away because of that. We have a monument coming up. And Rochinhanr is actually in a decent spot here, despite the early pressure and the early idle time. Now has an army. Got vision being cast on the base. Got ancestors being used just on the base, just to idle things. So essentially, Swerteko's just trying to distract Rochinhanr as long as he can, just to keep them idle. And it would have been nice. Well, I guess there's a retreat wall here. You could have maybe gotten on those hunt villagers. But, so yeah, Rochinhanr just trying to delay as much as possible. 16 villagers idle right here. Kind of seem to be a little bit unsure of where to send them. Coming back to the draft now. Where do they go from here, though? Like, these are your food vills. Do you send them to the monkeys? Or what do you do? Swerteko being at one town center. And Rochinhanr being at two. I mean, you kind of have to realize there's a timing push here. This is another new concept in AOM, is this wall breaching, which deals area damage to walls. I like it. I like that a lot. kind of one of the issues with Legacy, especially as you got into late game, was that layers of walls were really tough to get through, and that's what that little thing is meant to combat, is the layer walls. Swerteko puts in a little raid, kind of sees what's going on here. Rochinhanr's probably at a position where having Barrage open, I could see, or not Barrage, having Tempest open. I could see Tempest being used on an attack here. But with Rochinhanr being at 2 town centers, though he doesn't know that Swerteko's only at 1, actually is in his benefit just to kind of sit back and just let Swerteko come to him for now. These villagers, where do they go? Are they coming all the way across to down to this food? They are, aren't they? So what I get from the game styles here is that Rochinhanr is a very defensive player. Swerteko likes to try to get map control and then just patiently take the game. We have a fight here. Yeah, with Tempest, this is not going to be super great for Swerteko. We're already at Taylor Swift the third and is soon to be the 4th. So Taylor Swift goes down again. We've got a battering or portable ram coming in on the Migdal. Which these things are pretty good now. The portable rams are in a good spot. As we see Rochinhanr is kind of pushing through. There is no army now for Swerteko, and this set has not really accomplished what he was hoping it would accomplish. As we see the villagers hiding in the Migdal, the military going down for Swerteko, and just not enough units here. Didn't really hit any sort of timing with just the 1 town center, and so it falls way behind. Heavy spearmen. Migdal goes down. These villagers are kind of split up, but we can kind of let them go. So you get on the spearmen. Now kind of a panic town center build, like I'm way behind. I need to just hope that Rochinhanr lets this game go for a long time. Horus is coming in. But boy, it would have been nice to have spent 2,400 more resources on an army to help defend. Because I don't know what Horus will do for you now. As long as Rochinhanr doesn't just mass up like a huge full pop army and it just sits them on one spot, your tornado probably isn't going to get a ton of value. Got the Valks poking away at the villagers down here. Only 39 villagers for Rochinhanr. But yeah, this isn't the army you want to use it on. It's only like a portion of it. Lost all those vills down there. Now it's Rochinhanr's turn to kind of take the middle of the map and just sit back a little bit. The rhinos. The rhinos chasing the Ulf Jarl. Now we do have an Ulf Jarl. Not upgraded though. No upgrades on that Jarl. Does find that operation at the top, so now Swerteko's kind of going to be forced to defend 2 spots here. Has to try to defend this, has to try to defend that. So the army can kind of get split off a little bit. And building another hill fort there on the bottom. Animals are still chasing these units. Battering ram against hippo. Who wins? Oh man, that's not a fair fight. Let it keep going. Alright, all the animals are getting taken care of here. They are all dead. Look at that unit queue that all of a sudden popped up though for Swerteko. Got a bit of a Huskar raid here on the top. And this is where, so you see the army defending, you run the Huskarls out, and then start pressuring down here. It looks like the Huskarls are just going to stay in and just take the punishment from the units. Yep, there we go. So yeah, get them spread up to the top. What you would have liked to have done just a little bit better there if you're Rochinhanr is run the Huskarls away, so that when these units come down forced to defend, you can then come back and hit up at the top again. Unless Swerteko gets some sort of like amazing tornado, like the best tornado in the history of the game, I don't think this is going to work out very well for him. Just a rock giant, not upgraded. Swerteko looking for villagers. Unfortunately, they're all on the bottom of the map, protected by Rochinhanr's base. Come some Jarls, they will be spotted. Oh, they do have medium cavalry. See it coming. See, that's where you just would like to have just a little wall here to slow these Jarls down. Don't quite get them in. Taylor Swift may fall again. Wow, that's a lot of deaths for the old Taylor Swift in this game. And oh man, you still have the Ulf Jarls over here, just all over the villagers. Swerteko kind of just getting picked apart here in regards to the idle time. A lot of hit points for these boys. We are up Vidar, so we're going to have an exploding wolf somewhere here. You just run it through right here. Got a nice army here. Because you still got the tornado. Yeah, I would have... You've got this army trapped. I would have ran the wolf right through here when this army was going through. Or you could still do it from here to here. Okay, right up the middle. Try to get in to hide. Gets a big explosion. Town center goes down with the last of the battering rams, and I don't even know if Swerteko can cast Tornado during this. Needed to cast Tornado sooner because now the army's all spread out. There's not a place. You would have wanted to cast Tornado before any of this happened. So just try to buy a little more time. We now have Tornado in on the Ballista. And the siege behind it. It always spins in kind of this counterclockwise pattern. But the tornado isn't enough to save the day, though. These units are kind of wandering back into it. Flying rock giant. Taylor Swift to 5th. And that's it. GG. So Rochinhanr knots up the series 1-1. Okay. Way ahead in economy. Swerteko had some Had some issues. Just never quite made that one town center work, and then just fell behind the massive Norse economy. Game number 3. All tied up. Nice to see not a sweep. Boy, would it be embarrassing to get swept. Swerteko's Isis again, this time against Odin. So Swerteko on the right. Our pharaoh is my wife. I hope she has a little more survivability than the last female that led Swerteko's empire. And we got Rochinhanr switched to Odin. So Odin on Tundra. Nice pick. So this would have been Swerteko's map. Would pick the map, then the god, and then Rochinhanr would respond with... Oh, actually, I forget. I think Swerteko picks the map, Rochinhanr picks the god, Swerteko picks his god. So we've got quite the scouting here by Rochinhanr with his swag temple. Wood trickle. And there's another relic right here, and we have the snakes used again on defense. And these villagers just come forward, and again, sending the pharaoh forward just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. You're losing on so much empowerment, and JJ's wife, the pharaoh, goes down. We've got the Anubite in here. You know, just you can kind of just wouldn't it be better just to attack these? So a lot of players maybe don't know that you can do a attack move maybe with the villagers, and snakes do almost no damage to villagers. They have a 0.1x multiplier, not really a multiplier, against villagers. So you can just attack move and fight, which is a lot less idle time than what we have here with these villagers just roaming around the countryside. We've got some villagers very far at the front of the map. Like, just send them here and just attack move the snakes and be done with the whole thing. Interesting to see the Odin go up with Undermine. I wonder what the thought process is behind that. Triple barracks. Getting Necropolis. Pharaoh's back for Swerteko. So what do we see? We're seeing lots of spearmen. We have lots of hunt here. We have the Great Hunt having been used by Rochinhanr. I think that might have been the second Great Hunt, potentially. I'm not sure. And again, Rochinhanr, our very defensive Norse player, is just, again, kind of like last game, just happily sitting in the base and then hoping that things will go very well. As we're getting some raids in. Spearmen come running in. Their new 5.5 speed. We'll pick one villager. One villager for a spearman is certainly worth it. This is where you just like to have just a wall. A wall. Rochinhanr being a little bit slow in getting like walls and stuff up. You'd love to have just a couple walls put up. And we have the Anubite raids on the bottom. And Swerteko is doing a little bit better job with kind of this early pressure here. Getting some villager kills with the Anubites, just kind of forcing villagers all over. He may actually stumble. Oh no, these villagers, maybe I missed them, but they all went back, it looks like, to the base. Yeah. I thought maybe they got killed because there were villagers hunting way out here, and now they're not. Spears in on the Hersier. He's trapped, unfortunately. Nice pick. Jump in on the Vills. Probably kill one. Yep. Run away from the Hersier. Nice control there. Actually got a lot going on right now for Swerteko with kind of the double raids on the bottom and the top, which works really well if you can manage them. You just don't want to lose track of one group of units and then lose a bunch of them. So really well done here on both sides to not lose extra units and to do kind of pressure both sides. Because that's the scary part. If you just stop paying attention for just a little bit, you end up losing one squad of units, and then your whole raid just isn't worth it. And here's this wall I was talking about that's just a little bit behind. And Rochinhanr at the 9.5 minute mark is 7 villagers behind. And now pushed off of gold. We have the tower upgrade now. And Swerteko's in a good spot with the Egyptian. Whoa, this is where you gotta watch your antibites. Does it get out? Yeah, just nope. See, that's like one of those things where the pathing is frustrating. So this one was here. He grouped that up with the back antibite. This one starts running backwards to get in with the formation, and that's a difference in the pathing from original AOM to retool that I think is worse. In Legacy, this one would have just stayed where it's at and maybe slowed down a little bit as it kept running to allow this one to catch up. Here, it just like goes the wrong way, trying to get in formation. And it shouldn't do that. Your unit shouldn't run backwards from where you wanted it to go. Rochinhanr does see all of these villagers coming up here, building a mining camp on that gold mine. So he's got a place to hit. But I don't know if Rochinhanr can hit it. So we've got a little bit of a lull in the action. And Rochinhanr just kind of way behind. Having a hard time getting gold. It's going to be behind on the age up by quite a bit. Maybe last time Swerteko used like an economical. You would maybe be tempted to use ancestors here if you had maybe just a few more units. Or maybe he'll use ancestors just on the villagers, knowing that the army's down here. But that's a lot of arrow fire for these spearmen to kind of eat. But wow, this is a lot. Rochinhanr being just pushed all the way into the base without any back hunt or anything is kind of stuck now. Just has the last few berries to eat. That's a town center, but what is Swerteko doing on the other side? Also grabbing a town center now.
Into you.
It's all of these animals.
Image erect.
Swerteko needs to work just a little bit on the mining camp placements. Like, if you're gonna put this many on a mine, you might as well build a second one, because there's just so much walking time for these villagers. We are aging up with Scotty. No Nord. Probably want to build a hill fort here, right? No hill fort. Building some Jarls. Boy, these are some just very... It's so weird to just see the different play styles that players have, or just both of these players are just so slowly, like as far as like aggression. Like in every game, Rochinhanr has just been happily sitting in the base. Swerteko is more of like kind of a map control guy who then just kind of seems to just hold the position until he knows, hey, I can come forward and do something. And what we get are some pretty slow moving games where there's just not a ton of constant action, which is like kind of completely different from like say my games where I'm just always trying to do something. For better or for worse. I mean, it's not like this is bad. It's just different. Still have ancestors. Got a nice market all the way in the corner. Our Migdal here. Quite an army here from Swerteko. I mean, look at the military difference. 135 to 161, just no siege. Has all 3 town centers. There's a bit of a raid in the back, but the spearmen are just getting pounded by the watchtower. Now has the first siege workshop built, or siege works. Getting fortified town center. It's an upgrade I rarely get to in my games. I've probably only researched it like in the entirety of Legacy or Retold. Probably like less than 10 times is my guess. I just don't get there. It's a good relic, the Harmonious Necklace. Now we have a little aggression coming in. We do have Frost for Rochinhanr to buy some time. Almost looks like he's trying to like age up or something. Getting a few herdmen out. It's probably not the unit to make. Grabbing that town center. Nicely done pulling the villagers away before the units come over to attack. Got a whole bunch of chariots in queue. And a couple scorpion men. Now a priest. I like this queue. You can kind of see what's going on. Only 1 tower. So Rochinhanr is trying to hold on to his frost as long as possible. Currently Swerteko is in a pretty... I really like the angle of attack here. Coming from here down essentially splits this part of the base up. So Swerteko can kind of just hold this position, send siege this way, and really pick apart Rochinhanr. Swerteko too, on the other hand, just doesn't have anything over on this side of the map to really be worried about. So can kind of split up and really get some more siege and can do just a ton of damage here. Just happens to be popped. I mean, look at this unit queue at 236 to 235 pop. And Rochinhanr is actually kind of launching in a random aggression attack, knowing that he has Barrage to save him, or not Barrage, I keep calling it Barrage. Has Tempest. No, Frost, I mean. But this all in on the town center is not the play, especially with these units now coming back. But wow, freezes everything. But I don't even know if he'll necessarily kill this town center. Maybe he will because of the Frost Giant. Thing seems to be living forever. Oh, nope. Just pulls back. Oh, now decided I think I can get it. Maybe. Kind of slowly running out of units here. The Einerjar is kind of a path to the wrong side. I don't think he's gonna get it. If he wouldn't have moved his units, he would have killed the town center. Not that it really would have mattered. They're just so far behind for Rochinhanr, where you've now used Frost. Going up Balder, that is a choice. Balder is just such a huge army here. I mean, even with Balder coming in, like the population really won't be better for Rochinhanr. Sneaking a few Huskarls in. I do like that though. And we have our attack by Swerteko. Just so many units. Getting a nice little raid here. Kill a handful of villagers. Could have like sent like a handful more. And whoa, some rare mercenaries being trained. Don't see that. Oh, he's not aging up in this, is he? No. Thankfully. But you hate though to have this tech half. Oh wow. It looks like he pre-queued this, which jumped the queue over Balder. Which I guess isn't the end of the world, but this Balder, there's just look at all these chariots. There's no way Balder's going to work here. No way. Now we have Horus, a Horus tornado on. Oh yeah, that's a nice. So you gotta hide your units. Ooh, that was a good one. That was a nice tornado there. Killed quite a few units. They all come. And oh no 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 no! You're walking your other units into it. I guess not the end of the world. But now kind of would like to get full pop before having to use Balder. But we'll probably start getting some villagers caught out to where Balder has to get used. At least we'll get to hopefully see a Balder and see it promptly die. 78 Vilvrag. Run, dwarfies. Yeah, not sure what he's waiting for here. I mean, I guess wanting to get full pop before hitting that button, but I mean, you're losing your Rag heroes. Here we are, Heroes of Ragnarok. We've got 2 armory upgrades on each tier except for the mail. So just copper mail. And what do we do? What do we do? That's just kind of the Ragnarok, and like even with the Rag is still behind in population. They don't really have that great of numbers either. Kind of miss the Ragnarok of old. This retold Ragnarok is just a little underwhelming, maybe a lot underwhelming. So we have our big clash in the middle of the map. Getting a raid coming up here. I kill some decent number of villagers, but chase that army back, but not quite winning the fight down here. Got our priests. These units are kind of chasing into the middle. These heroes chasing after those villagers. Yeah, killing a ton of villagers. Raid up here, raid down there. We'll tear down the middle base. Siege tower is kind of a waste of resources, but you're already at 147 pop here. But man, killing a ton of villagers. I mean, we all know this is a hopeless case for Rochinhanr, but is doing more damage than I would have expected with the Ragnarok. Getting lots of villager kills. Went back to defend that. But now the chariots are in to help defend, which will mean the end of these rag heroes. We've got a hill fort on this. Really wants to check, or should have checked, that top mine here. Yeah, there's just so many. Instead of the ones running here, could have ran up and got on this gold mine. And we'll push this. These are a ton. This is a ton. This is a ton of chariots. 37 chariots. Boy, there's a little just migdals everywhere. Oh, finding a few more villagers. I wish Ragnarok was just a little bit stronger. Like, it made the god power has the capability of making some pretty unique, like, post-apocalyptic scenarios in the game, but you just don't see it because the reg just isn't strong enough. How do these fire giants do against these chariots? Get your special in. Does decent damage. Get another one in. Reg bust. Yeah, I want to see Reg. Reg is a shell of what it used to be. I want to see Reg be better. I don't know if there's any retold devs listening in the chat, but that would be for as much as I disliked Reg in the original game, I've really come to miss it. It's just such a cool, unique god power. But anyway, this game is over. We can fast forward it to the bitter end, where Rochinhanr is trying to rebuild the empire, but is not quite there. The last of the units go down with this massive ball of chariots, and Swerteko takes the second game, 2-1. 2-1. So one more. Let's take a look at our post game. Just Rochinhanr fell just too far behind early. Just lost a lot of villagers, and to be that far behind at the beginning of the game is just tough. Because really, I mean, Swerteko's economy wasn't awesome. I mean, actually, Rochinhanr caught up at the end, but was just way behind was way behind in military. So let's go to game 4. What map are we looking at here? Is this steppe? Yeah, it looks like it. And we have a Poseidon. Hey, you watching? Maybe this Poseidon will fare better than the one that was on the stream last time. Didn't turn out too well. But Hagrid, I hope you're doing well. And Jolly Man, I hope so as well. Yeah. Spoilers for the last series, not that it takes long. It wouldn't take long if you were watching it to get spoiled. Yeah, I'm doing good. I am doing well as well. Life's busy. a good kind of busy as it generally is with kids. You know, fun stuff to do. This is a fun time of year. I mean, all times of year are fun for me. But I'm a huge American football fan, and American football season has started. So it gives us something. And my son, who's 10 now, he loves football as well. So he's very much a copy of me. So we've been having a lot of fun watching football. He's got his team, which is one of the best teams in the league. No, I'm not a Bears fan. I am. Here. I'm going to. If you look at the wall on the back, you might be able to spot back in the back here at the very top my team, which is the Tennessee Titans. Get our thing back. The Tennessee Titans. Maybe the worst team in the league. So it's interesting. My son likes the best team in the league. I like the worst team in the league. So I've actually kind of turned into a fan of my son's team. They're fun to watch. It's the Buffalo Bills. For those I know, Haggard and Jolly Man probably don't know a thing about American football. But yeah, the Buffalo Bills, fun team to watch. They're kind of just a fun team to root for. They seem like a good group of dudes. So, you know, probably the less you know about sports players, the better, because inevitably you'll find something about them that they really suck. So, the less you know about your sports players that you enjoy, the better. But yeah, fun team to watch. They're kind of been, in the course of football, kind of the lovable losers. They made it in the 90s, made it to the championship four seasons in a row and lost every time. That would be depressing. Imagine making to the finals 4 times in a row just to lose each time. Like, you'd almost rather just be bad rather than have that heartache year after year. But we see our Poseidon pressure here coming into the base of Rochinhanr, who is Loki. The decided maybe the Odin wasn't it and has changed to Loki against a lot of Poseidon Hippocon pressure, which is pretty standard for Poseidon. Early Pegasus as well. Lots of goats. Really? I mean, maybe casually. That would be fun. Like, if it's just something you're casually at, compete again to be second. But I feel like from like a fan point of view, where, you know, your goal is to be able, you know, you want your team to win the whole thing. I think getting second place, watching your team get second 4 years in a row would just be maddening, because you see the potential. You're like, we're so close to, you know, being able to be like the best, and you can't do it. But yeah, from like a competitor thing, it sure would be fun, just to compete. I mean, yeah, and I would have the same thing, you know, in my, I guess, AOM competition, where, you know, certainly in this day and age, well, look at all these idle villagers. This is kind of what seems to be a standard, a staple in my gameplay, to where I'm just not quite, I just can't quite do it anymore. But I still like to compete. Here we go, coming up to the chickens. I hope in a situation like this, you sure would really like to rush husbandry, which you did. But you watch darts. You know, to each their own. I feel like I would have a hard time getting excited about darts. That would be... You know, to each their own. Just, to me, just watching darts wouldn't be super exciting. But anyway, what about this game here? We've got 23 vills, 24 vills to 26. Kind of a British-Dutch thing, mostly. Yeah, like you would, other than going into maybe just a... Yeah, it's certainly not an American thing. Like, Like, you don't really go into the bars here and see people playing darts. Not that I'm even a bar guy anyway. Something to think about here. This is kind of an unnecessary risk. It probably won't matter in this situation, but when you have 22 goats in your base, there's really no point in doing this. But what I mean by that is, like, the only place you would ever see people playing darts around here would maybe be in a bar, but you don't even really see that. Americans are kind of losers, really. We're not very cultured. But yeah, don't send your villagers forward like this when you've got all of this still in your base. Just especially against a better player, the risk versus reward here just isn't there. A better player would kind of pick up on something like this and find a way to punish it. But here you have Rochinhanr, who's just firmly stuck in his base, just carefully repairing here. And yes, the retreat walls are always important too. You're right. You just put up a little wall here just to have something retreat to. And that's the walling is something that I think as players make their way up the rating ladder is something that becomes a little bit more natural, to where like players we're watching like 1450 players just don't seem to have and this is not going to be good for Rochinhanr, who is just going to get absolutely pummeled here. The villagers need to run. Though okay, there we go. Oh, a little bit of mismanagement here. You know, you're chasing one villager that went way up there, but in the end, we're still killing just a ton of villagers. But like even here, you're Norse. It's really easy to build walls as Norse. There should have been something here if you're coming out of your base like that. Poor Rochinhanr being Loki here doesn't get the scouting that our Poseidon gets, to where the Poseidon ends up with 21 goats at this point in the game, and Rochinhanr sitting in 0 and is just firmly pushed into his base. So as much as we would very much like to see a game 5, as we see a cheeky town center grab, I don't think we're going to see a game 5 here, Jolly Man. However, Jolly Man, if you are in the chat, I am planning on casting the other classical tier match that has been played after this one. I want to give everybody, my goal with the playoffs is to give, and now he spied the cav, but I think it's a little late. I don't think green wins this, and then you have a town center. Oh, I guess there's no hero for the Iron Jar, so these things were tanking a ton. That's where, man, just one hero. Oh, there they are. Why won't you fight this? Futures. I don't know. I would have most certainly fought that, but as we've seen from Swerteko, he's a pretty patient player, which is not me. I'm just all aggression all the time, all game, and the patience part of it is not for me. How he's eating all of his goats and sending more villagers down here. But yeah, it's time to go. See you, Jolly Man. So you're not gonna cast with me? How come you say you wanted to duo cast and then you just leave? That's disappointing. Waiting for the technologies, I believe, to come in that aren't getting trained. What are we doing? Oh, a second Hydra. Yeah, it isn't coming. Now, is his Okay, they are at least a different... I forget now, actually, how this works. If I pre-queue this and this in the same stable... I forget how the ordering works. Surely if one is able to get researched, it would start getting researched, right? I think it does. Yeah, he's waiting for his technologies, but not having any units coming in. Yes, that spearmen are strong. But yeah, I'd like to just see a bronze push here to end the game. We see all the villagers running up to the gold mine there. Hello, Dory. I'm just watching some Age of Mythology here, watching game 4 of a tournament match. And see, now we have flaming weapons. And Swerteko is kind of allowing Rochinhanr to just kind of hang around in this game. What kind of formation do we got here? We got the box. I actually don't mind this. They kind of ball up kind of nice, as opposed to the line where they're just spread out across half the map. You're not in the tournament? I am in the tournament. I played a series yesterday, actually. Will not spoil the result for you. Coming down here to this gold mine. Oh, he's really looking to try to sneak. Yes, the games are uploaded on YouTube. Every series that I have cast is ending up on YouTube. So we are at game 4 on here. My plan is once this series ends... Oh, he's got spy on that, doesn't he? Rochinhanr does. So he knows where these are coming. Really nice spy. But once this series is done, I'm going to take about a 5-minute break and set the other series up that I've got, which is the last of the quarterfinal matches. So that would be we are live. Oh. Did you? How close are we? So that affects herdmen. Do we have very many herdmen though? Where are they? 3. You can see some more herdmen here. The problem for Rochinhanr that he's facing here is he just has no economy. He's not training villagers from his home base. He's half the military count. And it's like trying to find anything he can find to get some food off the map. And I mean, he strangely has left some chickens in his base. And Swerteko is just very patiently kind of doing nothing here. So you do see the cav running in, and oh, we got a lot of Toxotes now. I think these cavalry melting herdmen are about to die to the infantry melting Toxotes. And so now we see what should be the last big push. We'll get a bronze, right? Okay, flaming weapons. Ceasefire. Okay. Good thinking, actually, from Swerteko. Just holds onto the bronze long enough to just force out the flaming weapons. Ceasefires the flaming weapons. Retreating back to make sure he doesn't get punished by any of the flaming weapons, and then is going to come back with the bronze units, I would assume. We've got 3 Hydra here. I like this box formation. It's kind of cool. It looks so fun. I love how, like, of all the units, like, the Centaur is, like, the protected, like, he's, like, the god of this army. The military general. He must survive at all costs kind of a thing. Now we'll see the bronze come in. And we left this at... Why didn't you just finish building that? It was like a second away from being finished. But there's just not enough units here for poor Rochinhanr in our game 5 or game 4. So our game 5 dream isn't going to come to pass. But it was an uphill battle for Rochinhanr. I mean, coming into it, he certainly was the underdog. To get a game is better than some in the tournament. So at least picking one game off is something to be happy about. But yeah, that's the end of this, and poor Rochinhanr is just completely blocked off from the map. Though, does Swerteko check that? Does he check it? Let's see. Or will he just very methodically come down this direction? We'll kill the longhouse. Come down here. Keep on pushing, because why not? Got quite the army. And there's nothing that Rochinhanr has for all these Toxotes. I like how Rochinhanr just kind of like acting like he switched to this side of the map. So don't look here. But yeah, this is quite the fight. Oh, I don't know. You get into the discussion. Oh, well, don't let your Toxotes. As far as what's more fun to watch, I mean, I don't mind Retold. I enjoy it more than I thought I would. These Einarjars, Hornblows are helping with this, but certainly there's a slightly different feel with Retold in regard, or with Legacy in terms of the population count, which substantially changes how the games play. Just the 115 pop cap to the 75 pop cap, one town center. I mean, that's just a giant change. Like it'd be kind of fun to, someday when you're really bored, is to make that population change in AOM and just see like what it does to the game. But anyway, that is the end of this series. Game 4 goes over to Swerteko. We will give Swerteko his win. So Swerteko advances to the semifinals of the classical tier of Athenian League Season 3. But someday, isn't it great, like in 20 years, I'm casting a match and we're like in the Athenian League Season 30, Season 40, 40 years of history. I still haven't won one yet by then. Maybe Cam will be playing. Maybe he'll have won, but not me. But yeah, fun little series here. Kind of a slower pace series. Both these players are just a little more careful than me. But yeah, Rochinhanr very much a stay in the base defending kind of a player. Swerteko is more of like, I'll take map control and just kind of bide my time into box formation kind of player. But yeah, thanks for watching. Haggard, thanks for stopping by. Did you raid me and I just didn't see, or did you just happen to randomly show up at some point here? Trying to see. I think you just randomly showed up. So anyway, give me about 5 minutes. I'll be back with another series. And then that'll close up all of the quarterfinal matches. So yeah, just behind. Idleville, losing a few vills, this big raid here, and then just never able to keep up in the military.